All right, Brad, you're on.
Hey everybody, welcome to the CyberStars webinar, or now we're moving it into the Google Hangout room. We've got our friends from Viral Marketing here with us tonight to help coordinate our webinar this evening. Scott Solari, he should be popping up here on the screen so you can see what he looks like here in just a second. CyberStars has teamed up with Viral Marketing. Frank, you guys may know Frank over at Viral. He's really super excited about what the CyberStars have been doing. See him out at a lot of conferences, and Viral has actually asked if they could host our webinars and put on these Google chat rooms. So this year we're really rolling out a whole new way to get a lot more exposure to the CyberStars. Our monthly webinars are going to be through the Google Chats with Viral, where you guys come out and talk and share about some of the things you're doing in your business and get out in front of a big group of people so we can start finding some of those new, the new talented techie agents out there in the marketplace and in the real estate community, so we can start bringing in some new blood. Guys, we still have about 11 states that we don't have a CyberStar in, and we have about 8 states that have one CyberStar in the entire state. And there may be 2 or 3 or 4 major cities in that state. So we got a lot of room to grow, and I know all of us are ready for some new people to come into the group and bring in some new fresh ideas. Before we get started, I do want to thank everyone that showed up at the summit. You guys really did make the summit absolutely incredible this year. A lot of interaction. We had an organized format. It sounds like you guys all like that. And we had some great sponsors. So with that, I am bringing to you one of our sponsors that you guys really had a lot of questions for, got pretty excited about, and that's Hoss Pratt with Fuel Systems. Hoss has actually worked on and developed what I consider the newest cutting-edge CRM that I've seen out there, meaning that it has a lot of the new technology, like the auto dialer built into the CRM. Genius. I mean, Hoss he's a sharp guy like that. He must have learned some of it from me, I hope. But I mean, an auto dialer built into the CRM, the auto texting follow-up plan. I mean, he understands action plans. He built his business through the action plans and the database and the personal touches, and that's where Fuel came from. And that's what inspired Fuel. So what I wanted to do on this first webinar was bring Hoss back on to go back through that, some of that information that he covered at the summit, because not all of you were there. And again, what I noticed, Hoss, and you can tell me differently, was that it looked like a lot of people came back to your booth and asked a lot of questions. I think you sparked a lot of interest as far as the CRM. And with the group of CyberStars, that's a big deal because these guys are on the cutting edge of technology. So what I want to do is just turn it over to Hoss, and Scott's going to be in the background, so you guys are going to see a lot more from Viral. It's V-Y-R-A-L. I think we had, and I didn't tell you this, Scott, but we had on our listserv where we all communicate with each other and share ideas and needs and all that other stuff, that we had a good thread going on Viral, and I know Bob Sokoler is one of your clients and does a lot with you guys, and one of the things that I made a comment about was you guys are just accountability ninjas. I don't even know if I'd say ninja. You're a pain in my ass is what you are. But that pain in the rear is what makes those videos happen. And I mean, really, I congratulate you guys for staying on it. And you're not afraid to say, hey, come on, I need this. So we want to get this out and roll it out. So for a lot of busy agents and for the CyberStars, that's a big deal. So anyway, we had that thread going there. All right, with that being said, guys, I want to jump right into the material that Hoss covered at the summit regarding Fuel, what it is. And Hoss, I mean, I know a lot of people asked a lot of questions about Fuel, so if you can even address some of that as you're going through, the information, and remember, you're talking to some of the top techiest people on the planet, so we can even take it up a notch and do the college version of your presentation and let us know how everything works. So I'm going to turn it over to you, bud.
Perfect, Brad. Thank you so much. And hey, as I'm going through this, I mean, pipe in, stop me if you have questions, because, what I want to do is get really to the meat and potatoes of what Fuel does and what it can do for, the CyberStars businesses, because, I was swarmed by some smart people asking some hard questions. And so, that was a great group of people there, and I've talked to, even some of them after the fact. So, as I go through today, what I'm going to do is I'll do a screen share, and Brad, if we can be answering questions, I'll try to get done, because there's always a lot of questions when it comes to fuel, because there's not really a whole lot that it doesn't do, but I'll tell you why we did this and what this thing's all about. I'm going to share my screen, and Brad, can you see my screen okay there?
You are live, yes.
Perfect. Okay, so here's the thing. It's about it's about automation, right? I mean, and here's why automation is important, is because it's the technique, method, or system of operating or controlling a process by highly automatic means, by electronic devices, reducing human intervention to a minimum. That last line, reducing human intervention to a minimum, is really what it's all about. And there's two parts of any successful real estate business. I mean, Brad, you taught me this from the beginning about lead gen and lead conversion. Go out and meet your 5 people every day. The question is what do you do with those 5 people? What do you do with the 5 people to communicate and build that relationship over the course of the next 12 months, right? And that's why we have to remove the human, right? Because if we don't, then the chances are it won't be consistent. In fact, I like this statistic. I don't like it, but it brings a lot of truth to light here, because 80% of sales happen on the 5th to 12th contact, right? So Brad, you teach a lot about following up with your with your SOI, right? You add your 5 people in, you communicate with them, every 11 days, right? So how do you automate that process? If you don't, you're going to be like everybody else, and only 10% of agents even make more than 3 contacts. Brad, I want you to come in on this thing, because right here is important, and I know that you're a big believer in follow-up. How true is this?
Oh, guys, it is. I mean, they already know. We've talked about this a lot, the action plans and campaigns, and there's a lot of people that build those in. So it's, here's what I've said. The personal touch is where this group right here can sense or see or find or sniff out the next opportunity, and it happens through just like regular conversation. I love using the example of something as simple as, little Susie's going to kindergarten. We started kindergarten this month, and if I were having that conversation, I'd be thinking, invest in some real estate and pay for college. I wonder if college is paid for. And then so I'd roll right into that. So do you have Susie's college paid for? And they'd be like, Brad, she just started kindergarten. What are you talking about? And it's like, no, I mean, like, put a house on a 15-year note and pay for college. Have it paid off by 15 years, have a renter in it, pay for college. So what I always say about that is there's not a postcard on the planet that's going to have there's no way I could come up with a headline and a call to action that would land in her mailbox and talk about Susie going to kindergarten on the day Susie's starting kindergarten. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we just pick up on a lot of those opportunities because we have conversations with people.
That's right, and the bottom line is as well. Not only do you got to manage it, but you also have to make more contacts. Most people, they don't make near enough contacts because they don't have that the system to not only hold them accountable, but it's like the hub of operations. And here's the thing in marketing. I do a lot of events. Brad, you had an amazing event in Vegas, the CyberStars. It was awesome. And we as soon as I left there, I flew right into Utah and spoke in front of another group of agents. And the thing that always comes up is conversion. What's the best way to communicate? What's the best way to convert? And I'll tell you this. Right now, I'm planning a conference. Brad, you just got done planning a conference. We're selling tickets, and people say, well, how are you doing that? And I say, we're doing everything, right? It's no different than marketing for a listing. You have to do everything. You have to make the phone calls. You have to mail postcards. You have to send text messages, do email. You have to do all these things because all these things together are what deliver the final result. It's not like just making the phone, being on the phone is where all the results come. It's everything else working in conjunction, and that's why you want to have these types of systems in place to be able to automate that process. Now, here's the problem, though, and we've been in real estate, like, 5 years ago, we didn't even have auto dialers. I know for me in my business, I manually dialed it. I manually dialed every single call. I mean, to look at where technology is today is completely different than what it was even 3 years ago. And so what happens is we now have this challenge, right? So we have all these independent softwares, and the ones that that do work, they're not built by marketers, right? The campaigns are horrible. You're scared to put any of your contacts on the campaigns because it's such bad copy. You can't manage any of it, right? Getting the mail out, transferring data from Red-X into my CRM, and then automating the mail. This is the problem. You have a different 800 call capture number, a different dialer. And in coaching, this is the biggest challenge is how do you automate when everything is so it's everywhere. It's hard to. It's not in one system. It's almost like you needed a Swiss Army knife, right, of software. And that's where we went to work. We went to work on. I put together some of the smartest people in technology to build a CRM that does literally everything under one roof. And it's the Swiss Army knife, because if we're going to get to automation, we not only have to integrate with other lead providers, integrate with other services, but we also have to have everything else under one roof, and that's the reason that we created Fuel. And Brad, do you know what Fuel stands for?
You know what? I should, because I love it, and I was trying to think of it the other day, and I couldn't remember. Feed. I can't remember, dude. I was trying to think of that the other day, and I'm like, I can't believe I forgot it, because it was genius on exactly what Fuel does.
Follow up every lead.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, and I want to jump in here real quick too, because I think the important this, Hoss, when I was watching all this, and when you first funnel to one place where everything's funneling in, and that's one of our biggest challenges is everything's coming in from too many different places.
That's right, but it has to. It's like the hub of operations, right? Like I tell people, Fuel turns leads into money, right? When I first started selling real estate, you were the person that got me in real estate, and we talked every single day, right? I look at that now. I'm like, how lucky was I to get to talk to the man, Coach Korn, every day, as a brand new agent, and you taught us that, right? You taught me the campaigns, the follow up, the riches are in the pipeline. Having all that, but it's harder to do, right? Because of all these different options. I mean, there's so many different systems. So what I'm going to do is can I go in and show you the different features that Fuel does, and then I'll open it up for some questions, do a screen share, or I'll take you in the back into Fuel.
Yeah,
okay, Brad?
Yeah, and guys, there's a question box on the right side of your screen, so feel free to jump in at any time and ask questions, and I'll make sure that we get those answered for you throughout the call. Okay.
And if the video is lagging, just slide that play bar back a little bit, because this is a live stream. So if you slide it back, 5 minutes, if you have to, it'll catch up, and it shouldn't do that. Even if the audio skips, you should be okay there. All right, can you see my screen here?
Yep.
Okay. So exactly what you said, Brad. It's automatic lead import. So right now, I want the listeners, the viewers, to think of where are all the leads coming from, and where are they being managed? And because we have leads coming from all these sources, from the buyer lead providers, our websites, tons of websites. They're coming from everywhere. And so think about Fuel as the hub of operations that brings those leads into one spot. We are integrated with some of the top lead providers in the country, but we also have a system that does for you techies, it does email parsing to bring in contacts from third parties, and it'll bring them right into Fuel. And whenever they come into Fuel will put you tell Fuel what campaign you want them to come put the lead on, and then it'll start the campaign automatically. And I'll show you some more on campaigns, but let me show you some different features that you can use not only in the campaigns, but you can also use to generate leads. For example, the SMS conversations. Look at the sign. So if you were to, and this is a sign, an example of a user, but if you look at the top, it says text home 18 to 972-916-9554. What happens is whenever they text that number, an automatic conversation takes place. And some of you, I don't know if you can text that or not. You guys can try it. It may be, I don't know if this campaign's set up or not. But what happens is the conversation is automatic. So it'll say, thank you for requesting information on 123 Main Street. What email address should I send the information to? And they respond with their email. And Fuel takes the contact, creates the contact inside Fuel, and it also puts them on a campaign of your choice. So, let's say, if you have a team and you want to put this lead on a campaign, you may put them on a campaign that goes to your buyer agents, and then or does a round robin, or it tells them to call that lead every day. Have you experienced the automatic texting, Brad?
Yeah, I have, and not so much in real estate. It hasn't really showed up here yet. I know it is starting to show up in some of the other areas. But explain that again, just real quick, how, like, Fuel gives you the flexibility to set that up several different ways. And so if you could just take it from here's how you get the lead to whatever it is that it's doing in Fuel.
Okay, so what happens is think about the automatic texting is it's having the conversation. It happens automatically. And you can let's say if you want to email them, right? As soon as I get the email from you, it'll kick off the email campaign. But a lot of people use it not only to deliver that type of information, but in this case, we have this user. This is Monica Benavida. She's one of the top listing agents in her market. She does amazing with Fuel. And what she does is, like in this case, you can see text testimonials to this number. And it'll kick off that conversation. I'll show you in a minute when I'll take you inside Fuel and I'll show you how it works on the back end. But it will deliver anything that you want, any way that you want to that user. So it'll email them, it'll text it back to them, and you can literally have it say whatever you want, whatever you want it to say.
So Hoss, I got a quick question for you. So
Yeah.
when it comes in automatically, have you previously set up for that specific text number what campaign you want to initiate? Is it automatic?
That's right, and you can have unlimited keywords. And this is why this is important, though, you guys. I've seen the texting too, but how the texting usually is, it's text, the keyword, and it's usually 1235974 50400. It's not a phone number. You know what I'm talking about? It's like it's a short code.
Yeah.
So whenever you're texting a phone number, people think, it's and the conversation is automatic. You can delay the text where they don't even know they're not talking to a real person. They're talking to Fuel, but you can have it. It's real powerful. And in fact, a lot of people use this as a listing tool on their listing appointments. Just and show them how they leverage technology and automate their marketing for follow-up. And this is a big reason why we are able to generate as many buyer leads as we do, because of this. And you show them, and it blows their mind. They absolutely love it. It's a huge listing tool. Let me move on here, and as we get into the in Fuel, I'll show you how those conversations would work. And then lead tracking and positioning. So here's the thing with positioning. If you can't, the idea is if you look at any target market, right? Your sphere, FSBOs, expires, buyer leads, whatever the case may be, you always want to position yourself as the expert, right? So imagine this, like in this case, this is a direct mail piece. And I don't know who this is going to. Let me see I hope the audio can work if I play a video, but we'll see if it will. But whenever a lead calls that phone number, what it will do is and that's a Fuel phone number. You can get any phone number you want in Fuel, not anyone you want, but as many as you want. We also have toll-free numbers in there as well. But imagine whenever they call that number, here's what happens.
Thanks for calling the office of Trent Chapman, home of the 37-day sale guarantee.
Could you guys hear that?
Yeah.
And did you hear how it whispered in her ear, expired caller?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's awesome, and you can have it say anything you want, right? You can have it say, if it's a sign call, that phone number is on the sign, and a buyer calls that phone number, and when it calls you, it'll whisper, buyer sign call, and you
Don't
can
you have another? Don't you have another example of that? Can you show
well,
that?
I have a FSBO, right? So imagine this is a FSBO number. They call it.
Thanks for calling the office of Trent Chapman, home of the Smart Seller program.
And see, she says something different both times because she's positioning herself differently. She's positioning herself as the FSBO expert, or the expired expert, or the home buyer expert, right?
Yeah, that's right there. That is genius. So you could have your 4 or 5 scripts for expired, FSBO, past client, whatever, and their scripts are right there. The opening script for that. It's just, that part is unbelievable. I mean, that's
it is. You know why? You know why it's unbelievable as well, though, Coach. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, where it really freaks you out the first time you actually hear it, like when it whispers in your ear, and then it connects the call.
Yeah, I would probably say, hello, expired listing.
Exactly. You start carrying on the conversation. And every call, inbound and outbound in Fuel, you can have it record. So it'll record every call as well. So somebody calls off your sign, and you have it round robin, because you can do round robin where you can have it do many things, but let's say it's round robin. They answer it, buyer sign call. It's being recorded as well, and you can have it record or not record. It's up to you, but it kind of holds. There's some accountability to it when everybody knows they're being recorded. Let me move on here, and we also have web widgets, so you guys can see that how you have free online home evaluation. For you techies, you can take that widget, put it on a website, and that lead will go automatically into Fuel. It's integrated. Campaign management. We already have pre-built marketing campaigns, and I'm a marketer. For me, that's why Fuel's is so powerful, is because we do have the techies behind the scenes, but we're marketers at heart. We know how to get the phone to ring. We know how to convert, and that's what it's all about. And so we have a lot of pre-made campaigns already in there for you that you can just take and run and start using it in your business.
Hey, Hoss,
Yes.
I got a quick question for you, man, because I know that I run into this question with a lot of the clients that we work with CRMs and the pre-built campaigns. How customized is that content, and how well written is it, and how customizable is it from what it already is, and making it perfect for what they want to say? Because I know that's one of the biggest issues that agents run into is those preloaded campaigns and what the actual copyrighted content is. You know what I mean?
What you can do is you can do absolutely anything that your mind can think of. I mean, really, and that's honestly like the hardest part about Fuel, is that it does everything, and most agents don't need it to do everything, but it was important, Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, here's what I've always envisioned that the CyberStars would do, and I've tried to pull this off a couple of times on our listserv, but if every one of us took one of our best one letter and we put them all into one spot, and then we could get those into Fuel for this, like the CyberStar version of Fuel, we could have all that content already dumped in there, and out of 180 of us, I mean, that'd be 180 pieces. Our one best piece would be awesome.
You could even mark, yeah, and it could be a campaign or a package that you get whenever you get Fuel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let me show you this. And to answer your question, Scott, here's a good look at what you can do. Is you can send an email, send a card. Now, on the card, I'll show you in a minute. The direct mail goes out automatically. We have a mail house that integrated within Fuel that does variable data printing. You can print almost anything on the card. The contact's first name. I'll show you in a second. But you can also do brochures, candy, gift cards, all that fun stuff. And you can upload your own. We give you a lot to work from as well. You can send a text message. You can send a text message reminder to yourself, reminding you to do something. You can add a tag, remove tags. You can add another campaign, change assigned to, so you can have the lead say, after 7 days, it's going to be assigned to my level 2 inside salesperson to call, right? You can have it, that's for teams, that's important because, they have different levels of follow-up. Change the status, send email reminder. You can kick off an automatic SMS conversation. You send a referral email. You can pause the campaign or archive the campaign. I know that's a lot, but it literally from this screen right here, there's not a whole lot that you really can't do.
Yeah, this is the group that can handle that screen, though.
Well, and you know why? That's why we built Fuel, because honestly, we were too, and we needed a system that could do everything that we thought of. Sometimes we think of some crazy stuff, and we have to have the system to be able to do it. But I can't think of anything that you can't do from here. All right, and also here's the direct mail. I'll show you right here. This is an example of a card. So what variable data printing is, you can see how in the headline it says, "Would you like to sell your home at 1953 North Trinity Drive in the next 39 days?" So imagine this, you guys. You can put in a merge field. You can put in anything, anything that has to do with the contact, right? Address, first name, days on market, your guarantee days.
Wait, back up, Hoss, because I think that's important to make sure we get the merge field. Just so I want to make sure everybody heard that.
Okay, say that again.
I just want to make sure everybody heard the different merge fields. So if you were to point out some of the merge fields on this card, which ones would they be?
This one, the 1953 North Trinity Drive is Subject Street 1. The 39 days is the guarantee days, right? Down here, the expired number, it merges in your expired phone number, so it'll track those leads and as well. You can merge in anything really in the contact.
Awesome.
And we have lots of different postcards to choose. We actually have I think it's a anniversary campaign, goes on for like 9 years. They get every year they get an anniversary card. Here's another example of the type of direct mail that it sends: birthday cards, half birthday cards. I had this right here. One of my coaching clients sent this. This is an invitation to his wedding invitation. He sent it from Fuel.
Sweet.
That's pretty cool.
That's great use of the system right there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's definitely confidence in the system too.
Yeah, it is.
We mail all over the country. We have clients, most all 50 states, and we, even in Alaska, Hawaii, we have clients, and the direct mail, it does not work in Canada right now. So if we have any Canadians, it does. The direct mail aspect doesn't work in Canada, but all over the country.
So I can totally customize the card to be whatever I want it to be, and I could set up whatever merge fields I wanted to be in the message as well.
Yeah, and you can upload your own as well.
Yeah, crazy.
So we have a postcard builder in Fuel as well, though. So if you wanted to build your own for anybody, I'm not patient enough to build my own postcards, but some people enjoy it. And these are the gifts that you can send. So think about the different candies and gifts, and gift cards, closing gifts, thank yous, referrals. We have people that have a post-listing missed appointment campaign that whenever they leave a listing that they didn't get, they put them on the didn't get campaign, and it'll mail them a $5 Starbucks gift card or $10 Starbucks gift card, just thanking them for their time. And by the way, that's a really good strategy if you're not doing it, because we hear success stories all the time from people doing that.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, and it can be as little. I mean, even for high-end properties, I have found that a $5 Starbucks card that nobody else does at all, let alone sends them an expensive bottle of wine or whatever, the $5 Starbucks card, it's kind of I always say the message that you put with it. So when we do like a $5 Starbucks card, I'll put a PS, tomorrow, one day this week, take a little extra time, leave 5-10 minutes early, enjoy a cup of coffee on us, and take your favorite book or something. So now it's not even a $5 Starbucks card. It's taken 10 or 15 minutes for yourself, and it just ties a lot more to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of that, and it works. And one of the best things about Fuel is the auto dialer. So whenever I said, dip softwares in different places, we have people, who just depend on a dialer. I mean, they can't even make manual calls anymore because they're so addicted to the dialer. Because when you have a system that's calling for you, where you're not manually dialing, I mean, it's hard to go back. And that's why we had to have the dialer, because there's not a CRM that's does what Fuel does that has a dialer. They're always separated. But the problem is if you're making calls from a dialer, it's hard to you got to take your notes, export your notes into your system. It's all disconnected. So we have a dialer built in. You're looking at it here. This is a screenshot of it. Think about you can call it's a one-line dialer. It'll leave automatic voicemails. It'll record all your outbound calls. You can call from different phone numbers, right? So we call power callers in Fuel. People that have ISAs on the phone all day, every day. And people even in the Philippines, right? Because their VAs can log in. Their callers in the Philippines can log into Fuel, and they can make their calls right there from the Philippines from Fuel. It records the calls. It does all that. So you can monitor them. It'll tell you how many calls they made, how many voicemails, how long were they on the phone for. Really cool stuff there in the dialer.
So now if I start a team, if I expand my team to the Philippines, can I start hiring Americans to do my calls for me?
Yeah, you know what? You can, but they're much cheaper over there. They are. I talked to one of our clients who he's from the Philippines actually, and he has 2 ISAs. I said, "What do you pay him?" And he said $4 an hour, and that's generous. And it was like, $4 an hour, and that's what he goes. That's why I had 2, and that's why it's such a big it's such a big thing. A lot of people have gone that route. People who have people on the phones all day.
Well, and I think the important thing to really talk about here on the dialer is that a lot of us have team members, and the hardest thing is keeping them on the phone as much as possible during the day. So that's what I love about Fuel, is that auto dialer is built in there to manage the phone call part of the leverage piece that we're handing off.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're looking here because there's total accountability, because it tracks the outgoing, the duration, how many voicemails. And
Awesome.
here's some success stories you take a look at. We have a lot of them. The people that come in and Fuel's it's an amazing system. It's people that come from other CRMs. There's always the learning curve with any new software, especially one that does what Fuel does. But we have an amazing team. Incredible training and onboarding. Really, that takes you step by step on how to start using Fuel quickly, to where it's like eating an elephant. You don't eat it at once; you eat it one bite at a time. And we help you take those, and put it in bite-sized chunks, and help you get our goal is to get you making money with Fuel, quickly.
I think that one thing I noticed about you when you've launched Fuel is you don't just dump 1,000 people on it after like one event or something. I mean, you have to bring people in pieces, because there's an onboarding process, and it's a really intense system. Not that you can't bring on, you don't have to bring on 2 people, but you're not dumping in 200 people after one event or anything like that.
You mean like 200 contacts on one and putting them in on one campaign at once?
Setting up 200 agents at once. I thought you used to bring on like 20, 30 people at a time, just so you could make sure everybody was in, at least when you were bringing the system on, so you guys could make sure it really did everything it was supposed to do.
Exactly. I mean, and that's why we do it. Honestly, we open and close it, right? We keep it area exclusive, not area exclusive, but area specific, right? So it's been like that for the last year, because we launched it last year at Recharge, and even since last year, I mean, we've beefed it up a lot. But how we've beefed it up is we're integrated with Zillow, RedX, LandVoice, Vulcan 7, Cole Information, and Lead Heist, which is our email parsing system. that brings in leads from all these other sources as well. And so that's the part, Brad, where it is the most important, is the integrations, right? Like the CRM of the future has got to be integrated with all of those players. Here's the thing before Fuel. So like imagine this: if everybody needs a CRM. Let's say okay, I want an auto dialer. You're going to go get a dialer. I don't know of a dialer that's less than $125 a month. I don't know of an SMS system that does automatic texting at all. But if I did, it does the ones, as I said, like the short codes, which it's about $30 a month. 800 call capture is about $30 a month. I didn't even mention that, but Fuel does have 800 call capture as well. And then call tracking, $30 a month. So it's anywhere over $255. I think we would all agree. But Fuel is I'm going to make you guys an offer for the CyberStars, and I'm going to give you the same offer that I did in Vegas. But and here's how this would work, Brad. If anybody in the CyberStars wants Fuel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in the bonuses, but I'm going to give them 30 days free. The only thing they would have to pay is the $697 for the market domination package, which is where we give you all of the best campaigns. We give all that stuff to you. But you'll get one free user, and then I'll give you a one-on-one coaching call and give you the 9-year past client campaign.
Okay.
But here's what I want to do though. Take questions, and then I can go in and show you my screen, and I'll go into Fuel and answer anybody else's questions, because they always have a lot. So I'm happy to answer any questions y'all have.
I was playing with the question thing. I don't seem to be able to answer questions or ask questions. I just question box.
There hasn't been any questions that have come up yet. So the viewers that are on right now, if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask them, and we'll get them answered right away.
All
right, Brad. Is there anything that you want to add? As I'm gonna go ahead and log into Fuel here real quick.
Yeah. What were some of the main? Was there any questions that we didn't cover in this stuff that popped up at the summit? Because I know that's probably being. I mean, there's at least one or two people thinking of that on the webinar now. I know Bob had asked you some good questions about a couple of things, and what haven't we covered yet that the CyberStars had questions about?
All right, I'll show you this. Let me. I'm gonna log into Fuel. I'll show you something that. Let's see, it's entire screen. I'll do that. Can you guys see this?
It's coming up. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so right here is change assigned to, right? Which you can do on the campaign, and this is something that a lot of you guys asked, is the round robin and managing the buyer agents, managing the leads. And so what you can do is you can set up a round robin to where it'll every lead that comes in, it'll put them, it'll assign that lead to a different person of your choosing, right? So if you have 5 buyer agents, you can put them all on a round robin campaign. So if you and we're integrated with Zillow, right? So imagine the Zillow leads that you generate from Zillow come into Fuel automatically, or automatically put on the Zillow buyer campaign, and at round robins with all of those buyer agents. Does that make sense, Brad?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what are your options for that? Can I round robin? Can I turn people on and off? Can I ring it to 5 people at once and have the first one that answer gets it? What are my options there?
Yes, you can. And so you can have it change assigned to. You can change the status. You can start another campaign. But what you can do is this. Let me. I'll show you on the phone, right, where it rings everybody at the same time. All right. So if you look at, let me see if I have a phone number. Hold on. Okay, so let's say that this is my short. Let's say that let's say this is numbers on my for sale sign, for example, right? This number right here, and I want that number when they call it. I want it to forward the caller to this number, right? And so I can put on here, I mean, as you can see, tons of different numbers, right? And it will call every single one of these people at the same time, and whoever answers the phone first is who it will connect the call to.
And so now, does that tag that lead inside Fuel as well to that person, so that you know that they're the first one that answered it, and now it's assigned to them, kind of?
In the campaign, it will do that, but when it connects the call, it'll create the contact record inside. It'll create the contact record inside Fuel, but it depends on the campaign. So when this campaign kicks off, let's say you have a campaign that starts when somebody calls this number, and you put them on the buyer sign call every day campaign.
Yeah.
And and that campaign can be either you can assign it to someone, or you can do a round robin on it as well.
Okay.
But you can even add a queue, right? So you can put it in an agent's queue whenever somebody, whenever they call it in the dialer, you can add it to their queue to where it'll, call that person next. And I'll show you the SMS converse. And right here's the tag, Brad. So you could have it say any tag, right? So you can say buyer lead call in, and so it'll apply the tag. Whisper text. This is where you would put what you want it to say, right? So I would say buyer sign call. And so whenever somebody calls it, that's what it's going to whisper in our ear.
Yeah, I love that whisper.
And right here, you can record the conversation or not. And then you can add a campaign, so you can select what campaign. Let's say I want to, when somebody calls my sign, I want them to be put on the buyer lead. Is there a call every day? Right here, buyer lead call every day campaign. And I'm going to add step.
Now, Hoss, are all these campaigns already preloaded?
Yeah, well, I'm in a different, so don't pay attention to these campaigns, because a lot of these are yes, but this is the account I always do stuff in, so there's probably some in there that are not as well. All the like listing boss stuff, the Zillow, right? So here's like a Zillow buyer lead 40-day charge. The first thing it's going to do in the campaign, it applies the lead Zillow lead, applies the tag Zillow lead. See, that's just goofing around there. Let's see, text message, and then I want it to send a text message to the person. So, hi, thank you for your Zillow inquiry on this property. I wanted to let you know that your message was received, and I'll get your questions answered ASAP. Also, feel free to call me directly. Right? So it'll send that text message to that lead, and then it's going to send a reminder to the agent. Brad, a new Zillow lead. Contact them as soon as possible at their phone number. And here's their email. You're awesome. And then it kicks off the campaign.
Yeah, what I love about this, Hoss, is that you really did take what made you successful in the first 2 years you were in real estate. First of all, I guess I should kind of back up there even, because Hoss didn't know anything about real estate when he got his real estate license. In fact, he called me and said, hey, I'm thinking about getting real estate, but I'm only going to do whatever you tell me to do, which he had that kind of faith in me. That was impressive enough upon myself. But what happened is you did $8 million in sales that first year, and I think you did about 16 or 18 million your second year. And really what you've done is you've created a system that was that personal touch piece. That's how you did it, was touching people every day. I mean, I remember your second year, there were days where you were on the phone for 4 to 6 hours, just doing follow-up calls, making your normal calls, lead generating for calls, and you had everything else leveraged out. That's how you go from 8 million to 18 million in a year.
Well, and that's the thing, and it's all about the follow-up. I mean, the follow-up is everything. But here's the thing with the follow-up. You have to follow up using, I'm sorry, I'm saying you're looking for an image, but you have to follow up using multiple forms of communication, right? I mean, all texting and emailing and phone calls, and that's the most important thing. It's not one-dimensional where all you have to do is send an email. Email doesn't really do anything. I mean, it helps, helps them think of you or see you, or but for the most part, you got to be doing everything.
The the best way I summarize that is we have 5 senses: see, hear, touch, smell, taste, right?
Yeah.
So the more they can see when they get their handwritten notes and they feel good about the note, and then when they call they hear your voice. I mean, the only thing you haven't covered here, I'm pretty sure, is just scratch and sniff for the smell side of things.
I know I've not figured that out yet, but I'm not gonna give up.
This group did note that Google had a smelling device that you could plug into your computer and you'd be able to create smells. So we're close. I think it was a hoax.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm sitting here trying to do this, but this is like, this, and we actually just launched this. This is really cool. This is our the HTML email editor, right? So you could upload videos here. You can upload images. It'll do a spam check and see how spammy your email is. You can add links, your email signature, your HTML, all that stuff. You can go here, and then you can also type in, it takes you to YouTube. And I'll just type in my name, go to YouTube, if I can spell my last name right. But then once you do that, you can put a link, but all I have to do is just click the video, insert and close, puts it right there in the email, the video.
Hey, one other thing I know that's a pretty big deal, and I know we're kind of coming up to wrapping this thing up, but can you summarize the fuel pages real quick? I don't know that we covered that on this.
Yeah, let me show you guys this. So this is fuel pages. You guys, for the CyberStars would love this system. And if you want more information on that, you can go to myfuelpages.com. It's myfuelpages.com. But what this is what you can do is you can create a website, and I'll show you how to do this. You can let's say I can type in your address, Brad. I can build a fuel page specifically for your address. Or you can also do a non-address site that's like Kansas City home values, right? Or GlenHollowValues.com, or Plano schools. You can do anything that you want where people will go in, and I'll show you how this works. But you can create anything. You can upload any background that you want in the back, right, of the website. So it can be, you can literally, I wish I could show you, but you could take a picture from your phone, and you can push a button, and literally walking into a listing appointment, it'll create the page, and it'll create a fuel page specifically for that home address, and I'll show you what it does. You're talking about listing tools. It's a huge listing tool.
So you're basically creating a customized landing page on the fly?
That's right here.
Wow. And what's crazy about it is it's inside fuel, so it's the funnel. There is no funnel. It's right there, so anything it captures is going right into your CRM. Yeah, and even for non-fuel users, though, Brad, you don't have to have fuel to have fuel pages. That's important point. But we are the only CRM that Fuel Pages is integrated with, considering we share the name. It's Fuel Pages is Fuel Lead Systems, little brother. You know what I mean? But you can get it independently as well. But gotcha. So imagine this is your listing appointment. Let's say this is a FSBO. You can change this headline here too, by the way. You get it. I can say 3600 Crown Hill Drive for sale. Click here for more information. And when they click it, this will pop up right here, right? And so it asks them to access the report. But here's what makes this thing so different with Fuel Pages. There's a lot of places that do this right here, right, Brad? I mean, this isn't nothing new. A free online home evaluation page, and then they fill it out, and then that gets emailed to the agent. But what Fuel Pages is different is it actually provides them with crazy amounts of data right on the back end. And so right there, that lead was captured. Right there, they were automatically put into Fuel, put on a campaign, or emailed. The lead was emailed to your email if you don't have Fuel. But check this out. It gives them a range on what the property's worth. I wanted a range because here's why. You don't win whenever you give a specific number on this. I mean, Brad, when's the last time you show up at a listing and
you told them the property's worth 250, and they're like, yeah, you're right. That's what I was thinking too. Let's list it, right?
Yeah, right.
They're always what? No, I was thinking 265. It's like, and so if we gave them what they wanted, it would hurt us, is what our point, right? So we wanted to give them a range.
Pretty much everybody in this group, I see a lot of people giving ranges anyway. But
look at this stuff, you guys. Home sales summary 2014 total. Look at all the data, and this is on any address you want. Any address, and it does this. It also has the transactions, right? The different transactions in the area. It gives them nearby establishment. So imagine you have a listing, and this is your listing, and this is where people go get information about your listing. And you can give them information on the schools. Look, I mean, all the way down to, the data is, where is that? Like, where the students per grade, enrollment and staffing, all that. Like, just crazy amount of information.
Now, does that cover all marketplaces? There's not really anything we need to worry about you setting up in the different areas that the CyberStars are in?
No.
No. You're funny.
Let's see. Let me.
You're way smarter than I've ever given you credit for. You know that?
All right. So let's say this. Let's say you want to do Facebook ads. Check this out, Brad. Let's say I want to do Facebook ads. I'm going to do a non-address site. And so the non-address site will do this. And I'm going to pick a background because I don't have one. So I'm going to pick this. I'm going to build it. All right, right here. This is called Facebook retargeting. And so what you can do is you can go to Facebook, get the snippet, which is retargeting, to where when somebody goes to your page, right, they go to this page we're creating, it'll Facebook ads will follow them forever. And you can have it, do anything you want. But this retargeting thing is really cool.
That's actually cutting edge. That was the whole thing at that summit, was talking about what is the future? What do we need to be on the front end of? And retargeting is definitely, like, this is the first year we're seeing it show up in different places.
I retarget everything in my business, and everything is, and you're right. You have to be smart to maximize, the return. You have to be smart to, maximize the money you're spending on marketing. Like, if I'm driving traffic to this page, from direct mail, for example, or from email, when they click that page, I want them to forever see my face on Facebook, because that's where they are all the time anyway. All right. So check this out though. So this is like in the first page we had the site. We had the address. This time we did not. So let's just say I'm when I start typing, we're integrated with Google Maps, to where Google Maps, this is actually what's pulling the information. Hit submit, and then it does this what is it? Google Street View, right? So they can see their address, and then they fill out the form. I'm gonna do this. And then they're able to, and that lead right there is generated. That's Fuel Pages.
All right. So what was the best way, or how did you set it up for the CyberStars to make sure they got in on the CyberStars deal, or if they have more questions, or they're just ready to get going on Fuel? What do we need to do to get to you? That, by the way, guys, that is one other thing. Hoss is like, he's built his whole business. He built his whole real estate business by being on the phone, actually talking to people. He didn't hand that piece off. He's done the same thing with his listing boss. He's done the same thing with Fuel. Hoss is a real person that you guys can actually talk to. So what's the best way for us to get a hold of you, or to get that information in, so if the CyberStars do want to jump on that?
All right, so I don't have, the only thing I have here is the physical order form. All right, so because if you go anywhere, you can go to fuelleadsystem.com, and you can get fuel, but it's going to charge you, the $179 for the first month. But I'm going to waive that, and so if you want fuel, or you want more information, well, I'll send, we have tons of great information to help you. But if you just want to email us at, you can send it to Hoss at hosspratt.com. It's HOSS at HOSSPRATT.com. And just mention that you're a CyberStar. You heard about it on the Hangout, and I'll make sure that you get taken care of. And I'll also, if you're interested, I'll send you a 15-day trial of Fuel Pages, so you can try it out for 15 days for free. And by the way, Fuel Pages is $97 a month. If you want to continue.
And that's for unlimited pages.
That's unlimited. I didn't show y'all, but like you can upload a CSV file of 1,000 homes in a neighborhood, and it'll create a page for every one of them.
What?
Yes.
You're crapping me.
You can do both of them. Yep. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we'll take care of you. Just send us, let us know, and we'll get you taken care of.
All right. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I wanted to bring Hoss back so everybody could see some of the information he shared at the summit. You can see why it sparked a lot of interest. He's tied a lot of the things in that top agents are using and how we're really managing those leads. The auto dialer built in, the Fuel Pages, just incredible. So Scott Solari with Viral Marketing, thank you so much, Scott, for putting this thing on and
no problem.
Kind of making sure we stayed live. We really appreciate you and everything you're doing with the CyberStars.
No problem, man. Anytime, Brad. Thanks for having me on to sit here and moderate a little bit, get some questions in. But we had a good amount of people on, just hanging out and watching. So this has been good. Thank you.
All right, guys. So if you have any other questions, we can talk about this on the listserv, and if we need to, bring Hoss and them in to answer questions or something, or I can forward their questions on there and get them back to you guys, we'll figure it out. So get a good conversation going on the listserv about the webinar tonight, and we don't have a website up. I just realized I don't have the website set up for the summit next year, but we're going to be in Dallas, Hoss Pratt,
Plano, actually. You're right down the road, like less than a mile away from my house.
Yeah, like August. It's the very last couple days of August and the first couple days of September. It's the weekend before that, Monday and Tuesday before Labor Day week. We're going to be in Dallas. We're going to a really nice hotel. We're planning it a year in advance. So this last summit we pulled together in about 3 or 4 months, which was pretty short notice, but we got it put together. But yeah, guys, we're going to have a killer summit this year. I hope you're all going to be there, and we'll be in Hoss's backyard. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.